Live streaming is on.
I am Harmless Phosphorescent. Hello, everyone. This is Throw Smiley, and I don't want to see this podcast on your MySpace page later.
I'm Josh CC, and we built this to shut the hippies up.
I'm Brian Lesh, and I'm here to tell you about the dangers of in-flight icing.
I'm Allard Weber, and I came unprepared with a tagline. I'm the most famous mass murderer in the history of history.
You are, Alan. This is
Case closed.
Phosphorescence. It's the podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and the source material, then we tell you all about it. This show is brought to you by our patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. Hey guys, how's it going? You too, gentle listener and watcher, can be a patron too. Just head over to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. We got lots of bonus content there. We've got Star Wars podcasts, ones about music. We've got ones that are non-superhero movie ones. We do those every month. Later this month, we're going to be doing one on Boba Hotep. So stay tuned for that. And you may have noticed me mentioning, viewers, we are live streaming this now. Every week as we record, we will live stream the recording on YouTube. Just search for us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel. And this week, everybody, we are watching and talking about Iron Man.
No one's allowed to talk, is that it? You can't talk?
No, you intimidate them.
Good God, you're a woman.
Is it better to be feared or respected? And I say, is it too much to ask for both? I humbly present the Jericho. To peace.
Tony Stark. Now you work for me. What are you building, Stark?
Your eyes are red. A few tears for your long-lost boss?
Tears of joy. I hate job hunting.
Yeah, vacation's over.
Welcome home, sir.
Put up the scanner, will you?
What happened over there?
I have my eyes open. I want to protect the people I put in harm's way.
A man with a dozen of these can rule all of Asia.
Yeah, I can fly.
Let's see if this dog can hunt. So the upgrade is complete.
Tell you what, throw a little hot rod red in there.
Damn.
Good luck keeping up.
What's going on here?
Let's face it, this is not the worst thing you've caught me doing. There's been speculation that I'm parading around as a superhero. I'm just not the hero type, clearly.
Iron Man! Woo! A release!
That was exciting when it came
I
out.
love the trailer as much as I love the movie.
It's a really good trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
It's
exciting.
definitely is. Yeah, and the use of Iron Man at the end there with the shot of him walking away from the explosion. Yeah, awesome. It was released May 2nd, 2008. It has a running time of 126 minutes. It cost $140 million to make. And it took in $585 million at the box office. Big hit.
Wow.
It was, more importantly, the beginning of the MCU. We finally made it, guys. We made it to the MCU.
Yes.
Yeah.
our 73rd movie.
What a freaking way to what a way to start.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. What a movie.
Well, we'll get to that, but it was brilliant for Kevin Feige and Favreau. Bold choices, and it killed. God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. It was. I was just blown away. I haven't watched it in probably 5 or 6 years, and it just blew me away again. So good.
Yeah.
This is one that I watch all the time. Still,
it's surprising. Like I've probably seen this 2 or 3 times before, and to watch it in full again, it was just still so good.
Yeah. It really holds up. And I'd forgotten how much they do initially set up the MCU in this movie.
They do.
In my memory, that was something they kind of tagged on a little bit, like just as a teaser, but no, it was really set up.
Yeah,
there are even side characters
the tone and everything.
But Thoreau, I think you mentioned the box office. So does that mean it's time for the box office top 10?
It is, Al. It's time to play the box office top 10.
Al gets no points for being pushy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say it for once.
You got it, Al. It's Al's time to shine. This is the box office top 10. It's the game where we count down the top 10 movies of May 2nd, 2008. The guys try to guess what movie I'm describing when I describe it using only the Box Office Mojo description, leaving out any proper nouns, which I may need to do in order to keep it secret. Normally, I have the guys guess where this opened. Guys, all together now, where did this open?
Number one.
Yeah, so we're going to forego that. Number one. We're going to forego that this week, and we'll just jump straight into counting down the top 10. We ready, fellas?
Uh-huh.
This is the number 10 movie of the week of May 2nd, 2008. On the day that a serial killer that he helped put away is supposed to be executed, a noted forensic psychologist and college professor receives a call informing him that he has a limited amount of time left to live.
That he does? The lawyer?
Yeah. The noted forensic psychologist that has a limited amount of time to live. This stars Al Pacino.
Huh.
If I remember, I vaguely remember this movie, like super vaguely. And if I remember, he's like in full on like, born Pacino mode.
Wow. Pacino's the psychologist?
Yes. Yeah. Pacino plays the psychologist.
The
forensic psychologist. All right, I'll give you guys a hint. The title is just the amount of time he has left to live. How long does Pacino have to live, guys?
48 hours.
Josh says 48 hours. What'd you say, Al?
90 minutes.
Al says 90 minutes. Brian?
1 week.
Since I looked at you, tossed your head to the side and said I'm angry. The answer is 88 minutes. Al is the closest, so he gets 88 points.
That is another one.
Right rules. You went over.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone else did too.
Yeah, everyone else went way over. I'm 88 minutes.
I'm always curious as to when the clock starts. Does it start when the character becomes aware? Or if it's like, shit, 88 minutes, we're already 20 minutes down.
You're like, well, I tried calling you, but you didn't pick up.
Yeah, he gets a phone call, and then it's just like, boom. And that's why it's 88 minutes, because Pacino didn't pick up for 2 minutes.
It was 90 to begin with, and Pacino wasted 2 minutes. Yeah.
I wonder if that's if that's shot like 24, where it's like, in real time,
minute by minute. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I bet there's like a countdown, because that's just the right amount of time for a movie. 88 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it's in real time for sure. So coming in at number 9. This was on last time when we talked about superhero movie. This is another number 1. Can you guys remember 1 week ago when we discussed a movie whose name was a number?
Dude, I don't remember what I had for breakfast. And that was like
it's about
minutes ago.
Cards.
21?
21. 21. Everybody gets, so you all three guessed almost simultaneously. So everybody gets 63 points for all three of those 21s.
That's math.
I'd like to split those cards, please.
Double down.
Number 8. Donna's senior dance is supposed to be the best night of her life, though a sadistic killer from her past has different plans for her and her friends. He's going to take them out to like Red Lobster.
Well, it escalated quickly. The first sentence sounds like a teen comedy, and then it's like, whoa.
I guess not.
A killer from her past, and this is like a high school dance, so it's another high school student that's trying to kill her, I assume? Maybe it's like my granddad's friend.
A killer from her past.
From her past, she's 17 years old.
Yeah. Like,
well,
the kid who moved away in 3rd grade, she's like, I can't remember his name, but he's always trying to kill me. I have no
He's
idea.
my arch enemy.
Yeah.
He's my arch enemy. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know.
This is a remake. It's a remake of a famous
Prom Night?
film. Yeah, the Prom Night remake. I never saw that one.
There's a killer from my past. Don't you mean a guy who's killed?
Yes.
Before.
And will again.
Because we all meet killers that don't kill us, but we know they're killers.
Coming in at number 7 this week, a young girl inhabits an isolated island with her scientist father and communicates with a reclusive author of the novel she's reading.
What?
Wow.
Sounds kind of interesting.
That's meta.
It's got Jodie Foster, Amber Breslin,
huh?
And I can't read the last name on the tiny thumbnail.
The Island of
Mrs. Moreau.
The Island of Thoreau's made-up movies.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's that island. It is. It's popular with me, anyways. I spend a lot of time there. Mostly they're prequels to the Star Wars trilogy. That don't
prequels.
Every once in a while, I'm like, okay, so imagine this: if Anakin had just started at 17, he's like, Dad, enough.
Yeah.
It's Nim's Island.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Is it like Nim, like the secret of Nim, or
there's no H?
There's no H. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like the West Hampton.
Unrelated. Yeah. Yes.
Coming in at number 6 this week, a discovery made by a kung fu obsessed American teen sends him on an adventure to China, where he joins up with a band of martial arts warriors in order to free the imprisoned Monkey King and go to jail for mentioning Tiananmen Square.
Kung Pao chicken.
Yeah, it's like, it sounds like Kung Pao Into the Fist, but serious.
Yeah, exactly. It's called The Forbidden Kingdom.
Huh.
I don't remember it at all. Coming in number 5 this week, the week of May 2nd, 2008. A devastated man takes a vacation in order to deal with the recent breakup of his TV star girlfriend. Little does he know, she's traveling to the same resort as her ex, and she's bringing along her new boyfriend.
This is the one with the vampire musical in it, in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This movie's
forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that movie.
Yeah, and I will forget to give Josh any points for that.
Fair.
That's one of the.
It's the one with his penis shot.
Oh God! Yeah. Oh, and what's his name? They made the
Russell
sequel
Brand.
to Russell Brand. Yeah, and he plays a character that they make a sequel about, or like a spinoff.
Really?
Aldous Snow, and then they Get Him to the Greek, which is a time, and that's a pretty good movie too. It's decent.
Interesting. I wasn't aware of that. This is one of the few movies that does Hawaii like really well. Like it does a good job of like capturing the culture without like an Adam Sandler version, you know.
But the bartender, the big black guy who he names like almost every fish like for each letter of the alphabet or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what's the national Fish of Hawaii, and he just does the whole
Hubu Hubu Nuku Nuku Apua.
exactly.
Yeah,
I just love that.
or the Triggerfish.
I never saw this movie.
It's a good movie. You should watch it. Coming in at number 4, after being mistaken for terrorists and thrown into Guantanamo Bay, a couple stoners escape and return to the U.S., where they proceed to flee across the country with federal agents in hot pursuit.
This is like
Harold
Return
and
to White
Kumar?
Castle. Yeah, what was that one?
Harold and Kumar escape from Guantanamo Bay.
And what's his face was in the Obama administration. Like, that's hilarious. Cal Penn, yeah.
He was. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he was like a youth advisor.
Youth advisor.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle holds up really well. By the way,
The first
so
one,
hilarious.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 3. Oh, I forgot about this movie. Oh my God. A successful single businesswoman who dreams of having a baby discovers she is infertile and hires a working class woman to be her unlikely surrogate.
Oh, is this Tina
I know
Fey
this one.
Polar?
Yeah, Tina Fey.
Yeah, it is.
It's Baby Mama.
It is Baby Mama. Yeah. Our two lovely SNL ladies. And opening this week at number 2, a guy in love with an engaged woman tries to win her over after she asks him to be her maid of honor. Holy shit.
Is this like Man of Honor or something?
It stars Patrick Dempsey. Wow, he was still making movies he's fresh off being McDreamy or whatever Mick he was from Chicago Anatomy. Grey's, I don't know
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy. I don't know what
Grey's
movie that was. What it's called, Maid of Honor, MADE.
Huh.
Ugh, that looks awful. And number 1 this week, after being held captive in an Afghan cave, billionaire engineer Tony Stark creates a unique weaponized suit of armor to fight evil. And that movie is Maid of Honor 2. So, that is our box office top 10 this week. That brings us to the rich comic book history of Iron Man. Al Weber, will you please tell us a little bit about that?
I will. I just want to mention that we breezed through the top 10 like really fast, a little faster than normal. Thoreau, you're talking like double speed.
You're just moving at half time, Al.
Oh, am I? Yeah, that could very well be. I have
time is relative.
I've had very little sleep.
So there's like I said, Jude made me watch We Could Be Heroes, the sequel to Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Oh yeah.
And there's a character in there who is moving so fast that he reversed time in his own little personal bubble, so he's in slow motion. His name is Slow Mo.
Huh. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I think that's the situation we're dealing with right now.
I see. Yeah. So I'm slow-mo.
Or possibly I am.
Slow-mo.
Slow-mo. All right. So the comics. Iron Man, a.k.a. Tony Stark. Full name, Anthony Edward Stark. First appeared in Tales of Suspense number 39, March of 1963. In September of the same year, Iron Man would be a founding member of the Avengers alongside Thor, Ant-Man, Wasp, and the Hulk. The character
I wish Wasp was just a guy who wore Dockers and had a yacht.
It's my right. It's an American.
Voted Republican all the time.
All the time.
The character was created by Stan Lee, scripter Larry Lieber, and artists Don Heck and Jack Kirby. Iron Man would receive his own title book in May of 1968, titled The Invincible Iron Man.
Yeah. Yeah, Stan Lee loved to give them an adjective.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
The Amazing Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, the
Indeed.
the Invincible Iron Man.
Yeah.
I forgot which one we were talking about. Anthony Edward Stark was a wealthy American business magnate, playboy, philanthropist,
and philanderer.
Inventor and scientist. The Tony Stark character was essentially a non-crazy Howard Hughes with a healthy sprinkling of Errol Flynn.
Mm-hmm. I would say if it hadn't been admitted publicly, Bruce Wayne as well.
Sure.
Yeah, some elements there.
No,
he's
totally,
better at it than Bruce, but yeah,
that totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Stark suffers a severe chest injury during a kidnapping
in Vietnam. The original was
Vietnam. In Vietnam originally.
Yeah.
And his captors attempt to force him to build a weapon of mass destruction, but he instead builds a mechanized suit of armor to escape. The original suit was a bulky gray thing, replaced by a golden version in the second story. The sleeker red and gold armor premiered in Tales of Suspense number 48, December of 1963. So that same year.
Oh, wow, that early.
Yeah. And that was designed by Steve Ditko.
Yes.
That's the classic buckethead looking armor, right?
What's that?
It's like the classic bucket.
The red and gold?
Yeah.
And it had the pointy things sort of at the top.
Yeah.
Wolverine shaped, like pointy.
Oh yeah, that's right. The gold thing kind of extended up a little bit.
Right.
Little horns.
That was a brilliant switch up, because original Iron Man, the bulky steel just didn't, it wasn't appealing for, I think, from a little kid point of view. But then the yellow and red just boom, shot him right up there.
Yeah, totally. They really, Steve Ditko really slicked up the armor experience for all of us.
He really did.
Early Iron Man stories focused on the role of industry in the Cold War struggle against communism. Other themes explored included entrepreneurial autonomy, government supervision of scientific research, Tony Stark's alcoholism, and unregulated sexuality as a form of authenticity.
Whoa. I should have used that in art class.
You know, I should have used unregulated sexuality in a lot of things.
I definitely don't want it regulated.
Yeah, some guy with a clipboard standing in there.
So Tony Stark, he's pretty much just a regular guy with a genius level intellect.
Yep.
But his armored suit endows him with superhuman strength, speed, agility, and senses. The suit is capable of supersonic flight, is equipped with energy repulsors and missiles, as well as a regenerative life support system.
Regenerative.
Regenerative.
Yeah, like Dove soap or something like that.
Exactly. It just cakes him with Dove soap like constantly.
Rejuvenating.
Stark's cover story was that Iron Man was his bodyguard, a cover that he would use until July of 2002, when he publicly revealed his dual identity.
Wow. That's a long time.
Yeah, how long is that? That's like 39 years.
Wow.
In subsequent years, Stark would serve as the U.S. Secretary of Defense and as the Director of S.H.I.E.L.D. All right. That was Tony's backstory was a little more cut and dry than I thought. There were a lot of details I left out. Because there's a lot that goes on with Iron Man over the years. But that's the nitty gritty. Moving on to Virginia Pepper Potts. Her first name is Virginia.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Everyone that knew. Yeah.
Everybody that knew. Yeah. created by Stan Lee, Robert Bernstein, and Don Heck. Pepper first appeared in Tales of Suspense number 45, September of 1963, 6 issues after Iron Man's first appearance. Originally a brunette, she was changed to a redhead in Tales of Suspense number 50. Part of the secretarial pool, Pepper is promoted to Tony's personal secretary after fixing an accounting error perpetrated by Stark himself. Initially infatuated with Tony Stark, Pepper eventually falls in love with and marries Harold Joseph Happy Hogan, Tony's assistant and chauffeur. The couple adopt children after failing to conceive a child of their own.
That's Happy and Pepper?
Yeah, Happy and Pepper. They were a thing, and they adopted kiddos.
Wow.
Post 2008, so that's after this movie, Pepper would become a superhero herself under the monikers of Hera and then Rescue. After receiving injuries similar to Tony's and an armor suit similar to that of Iron Man.
Wait, so she had an arc reactor installed into her chest too?
No, well, she had like it was a chest plate. That was a thing. The arc reactor, like the thing. I think that was unique to the movie. The cylinder driven
being
into
inside
the
him.
chest. I think she just had to wear a magnetic chest plate. And Iron Man as well.
Yeah,
Tony
there always
Stark.
was.
Well, I mean, his arc
There was
reactor
always a circle.
was in his chest because of the shrapnel.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to be in the chest.
Well, I'm just saying because if she had a similar injury, I wonder if that was how it was.
Yeah, she had a shrapnel injury, but the comics, the movie differed a little from the comics as far as physicality of the thing that they had to wear. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Obadiah Stane. Yeah.
Do you think he might be a bad guy?
He
He
just might.
like Doctor Doom. Like we have an appointment with Doctor Doom. Really? He sounds a little.
He's my ophthalmologist.
Obadiah Stane first appeared in Iron Man number 163, October of 1982. He was created by writer Dennis O'Neil and artist Luke McDonnell. And this, when I was doing this bio, is when I was like, okay, this is cuckoo bananas. As a child, Obadiah witnessed his father shoot himself playing Russian roulette, causing Obadiah to go bald and become a ruthless manipulator, studying and exploiting the weakness of his adversaries.
Causing him to
He's
go
like, all I wanted to
bald.
do was play catch.
Like immediately, just all the hair just shot out of his head.
And then he became evil.
When he saw his dad
Naturally.
shoot himself.
So
As
were
an
they both
adult-
playing, or
Oh.
Dad was like, "Hey, watch this."
I think it was the latter. Yeah. Just,
I just
hey,
want to
son.
play checkers.
you want to watch us play Russian roulette?
I guess.
His dad was like a gambler.
No doubt.
Yeah, you're gambling when you play
the
Russian
ultimate
roulette.
game.
Oh, you're always gambling when you play Russian roulette, but he was a notorious gambler, and he thought he was on a lucky streak. And he was like, okay, Russian roulette seems like the obvious choice.
Yeah, a winning streak sort of ends once you leave the card table. You don't get to keep it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
All right. So as an adult, Obadiah became the president and CEO of his own company, Stane International.
With blackjack and hookers.
Stain International.
Stain International.
They're a dry cleaning company.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I will destroy you with martinizing.
And he went into business with Howard Stark of Stark International. There was
and you combine their two names to make Stain. Sorry.
Stark.
Starkane.
Stark and Stain.
You add the first part of Stark and the last part of Stain. And you get Stain.
Stain. I noted that the Stark's company went under the names of, over the years, Stark Industries, Stark International, Stark Innovations, Stark Enterprises, and Stark Resilient.
Ooh.
Looking up in the world.
That's got like a Trump vibe to it.
Yeah. And of course,
totally.
their food division, Stark-Olay.
After Howard Stark's fatal car accident, Obadiah set his sights on acquiring Stark International, now owned by Tony. Tony relapses into alcoholism due to Stain's assaults on his friends and company.
This is the 1980s Demon in a Bottle run, like the famous Demon in a Bottle run?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You are correct.
10 points to Gryffindor.
10 points to Thorodor.
Yes, I finally got some points.
Thorodor.
With Shield's help. Stain buys out Stark International, and Tony gives his Iron Man armor to his confidant, James Rhodes, while Tony himself disappears to become a homeless vagrant. It's like, I'm done being a billionaire. I'm going to be a homeless vagrant.
Yeah. I like polar opposites. Nothing in the middle for me.
Yeah, I'm not going to get like a nice apartment in town and just like
or like a cabin in the woods somewhere. He's just homeless.
Homeless vagrant.
Yeah.
Poop on myself. Live in a box.
That's the life for me.
While Tony is homeless and vagrant, Stain discovers Tony's notes on the Iron Man armor. He has a team of scientists decipher the notes and create the Ironmonger armor.
His notes. Dear Iron Man, I like your outfit. Right back. All right,
or like in 233 Athens. No, these are the notes for history class.
Dear God, this is me, Iron Man.
He's having his first period.
You see, when an Iron Boy reaches a certain age, they go through some changes and become an Iron Man.
When two
and
Iron
then they
Man
get an Iron Bar Mitzvah.
So Stain creates the Ironmonger armor, emphasized Ironmonger, which he plans to sell or duplicate and create an army to take over whatever country he wants.
He uses that phrase in this movie.
He does. That's why I emphasized it, because
we're ironmongers, Tony.
He didn't emphasize it, but it was there. So Tony Stark overcomes his alcoholism and recovers from homelessness, creating a new company.
Did go back to the fucking bank? Like,
yeah. He just decided to stop being homeless. This is what happened.
I got the homeless vaccine. Now I've got a house.
There was a pregnant woman involved. That Tony didn't get pregnant. It was not his kid, but he helped save a pregnant woman, and he's like, "Oh, I need to stop being alcoholic and homeless."
I miss this. I miss saving people.
Like, Tony Stark is not my lover.
Yeah. So he
It's just a
creates
house party at 4 a.m. and Iron Man's on the couch and he's pissed himself and he's just hammered.
Oh, just the piss stain on the armor.
Jesus, Tony.
The metal suit, just seeping through the seams. Anyway,
No, it's processed in the thigh pads.
oh yeah, there we. Where was I? He creates a new company, Circuits Maximus. Circuits Maximus,
Not Circuit City.
not Circuit City,
Or Circus Maximus.
with James Rhodes and a couple of other guys that were twins. I didn't write them down. I didn't recognize the names. I didn't recognize the names.
Winklevoss twins.
That's fine.
The something twins. They build a new prototype armor similar to the original model. Then they construct the advanced Silver Centurion armor. After a series of supporting character confrontations, Stane dons the Ironmonger armor himself to confront Tony, who is wearing the Silver Centurion suit. Finding himself outmatched by Tony's new armor, Stane, refusing to be arrested and humiliated, disintegrates his own head with Ironmonger's repulsor ray.
Whoa.
Wow, like his dear old dad.
Whoa, you're right.
Like his dear old dad.
He was
Yes.
playing helmet roulette.
But he was pretty sure it was.
You would think there would be some sort of safety mechanism to where you could not kill yourself with your Iron Man armor. Because there's a lot of ways to kill stuff with an Iron Man suit. You'd be like,
Oh yeah.
you just can't point it at your head and shoot it. Like the robot suit would like move your neck out of the way.
Oh yeah, because there's a lot of times you could accidentally have the palm of your hand facing towards you.
Yeah, that seems like a big oversight.
Yeah. All right.
That's it.
Moving into the lightning round.
All right.
Because we had a lot of characters. We'll probably talk about James Rhodes at some other point in greater length, but James Rhodes, James Rupert Rhodey Rhodes, first appeared in Iron Man number 118, January of 1979. He's going to be War Machine someday.
Someday,
kid.
Sorry, Terrence.
Yeah, Terrence Howard will never be War Machine.
I'm sad about that because I liked Terrence Howard. I like what's his name?
I prefer Don Cheadle.
I prefer Don.
I like Don Cheadle too. I guess I prefer Don Cheadle if I was gonna rank them, but
I feel like Terrence Howard's he's got a weird vibe in this movie, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He doesn't have a sense of humor that matches Tony's, but Don Cheadle does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's true. Okay. Ho Yin Sen. He's the engineer who helped Tony escape imprisonment in the first Iron Man story, 1963. He was Vietnamese because in 1963, Tony was captured in Vietnam.
Because that's who he hated then.
Interesting that they kept the name.
Jarvis.
Into Jensen.
Yeah.
Oh, they just dropped the ho.
Yeah. Well, and dropped the
like sometimes
drop that ho.
because I think it was hyphenated, right? Well, it sounds like Jensen would be a hyphenated name. No, it's just one word still.
They called him Ho Yinsen in this, like he's. It sounded vaguely Semitic, I think.
Yeah.
Ho was a first name. Yinsen was, or maybe Ho was the surname. Whatever. Jarvis first appeared in Tales of Suspense number 59, November of 1964. He was a household butler of the Stark family. This movie is his first appearance as an artificial intelligence. The acronym is just a rather very intelligent system.
One thing that I always thought was odd is that in Endgame we see Jarvis the butler. He's getting Howard in the limo, like, do you recognize that guy? Yada yada, and he sounded close to Paul Bettany, but I don't know why Paul Bettany didn't play the human
because
Jarvis.
Edwin Jarvis, that actor played Edwin Jarvis in the Agent Carter TV series that had Howard Stark in it. So that was a
Okay. Yeah, that would be
crossover.
harder to get Paul for the TV
Well, yeah,
stuff.
well, yeah, and Tony's household in universe, Tony's household system voice wasn't based on Jarvis's voice. It was just kind of named after him.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, it may have been based on his voice also, because it's just a British guy.
Well, yeah, okay, there's that too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in the show, he has a lot of stuff that he does with Agent Carter. He gets into all kinds of hijinks. It's very fun.
Yeah, Jarvis is pretty cool in Agent Carter.
Yeah.
Well, even in this, they did the Butler character brilliantly. That it was this computer and AI. It wasn't like the one from Spider-Man 3 we saw who doesn't remember anything.
Yeah.
And then like Alfred even, and that trope was used well.
Yeah.
No, I loved how much of a character Jarvis was in this, despite not actually being a character.
Well, and there's good reason that they cast Paul Bettany to do the voice. I think that they saw that being a direction that they wanted to head in, incorporating him further into the movies.
Jon Favreau did such a good job that there are even great interactions between Tony and a mechanical arm.
Yeah, Dummy. Dummy. And even back then, people were speculating that Dummy would become Ultron. Which is funny to me to think back on this era of Marvel being like, wow, people were seeing outlets for it. They were writing them in too.
Yeah, it was this little buddy comedy moment that they had, the arm and Tony.
Well, and he's in every movie. He's in every Iron Man movie. That same robot.
Right.
It is actually a character. It's weird to think.
Not even halfway through the lightning round.
All right, let's go. Lightning.
Christine Everhart. In the comics, she was a reporter for the Daily Bugle, not Vanity Fair. Harold Happy Hogan first appeared in Tales of Suspense number 45, September of 1963. He's going to get more airtime in later movies, so we'll talk about him later.
Well,
Nick Fury showed up at the tail end. First appeared Nick Fury in the comics. He first appeared in Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos number 1, May of 1963. That was May. That was just 2 months after Iron Man first appeared. I found out he was portrayed by David Hasselhoff in a Fox TV movie in 1998.
And modeled after Hasselhoff in the 80s.
Yes. And when we get through all of our superhero movies and are done, like we'll eventually be getting to that.
Do it.
Assuming we continue doing this eventually, we're going to be getting to all those terrible TV movies. We got some Hulk ones, Captain America.
Hulk ones, yeah. Yes, Hulk ones.
Similar to the Hasselhoff
awesome
depiction, they did the same thing with Samuel L. Jackson. He was designed to look like Samuel L. Jackson. So when they approached him, Samuel L. Jackson, I forget the exact quote, but he's like, "Yeah, he looks like me. I made him look like me. Yeah, I'll do it. Obviously."
In 2002, the character was re-envisioned in the likeness of Samuel Jackson for the Marvel Ultimate series.
Yeah.
So clearly it's like, hey, we drew this guy to look like you. You want to play this guy? Fuck yeah.
Yeah, is the obvious choice.
Yeah.
Phil Coulson. Philip J. Coulson.
Yeah.
Phil motherfucking Coulson. This was his first appearance ever right here. He did not exist in comics before this.
His first name was Agent in this movie.
Yeah.
He didn't have a first name. Yeah.
He's a great actor.
I love him. He will appear in several movies to come. 7 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He dates Aunt May in the animated Ultimate Spider-Man. voiced by Clark Gregg.
And he's the principal of Peter's high school at that same time.
Yes, that's right. He is the principal of the high school. He would be introduced into Marvel Comics in 2012, 4 years after this.
Yeah.
Just because he was such a great character. They just built on him.
He was like a fan-demanded character.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting to see that happen.
Totally.
His arc is amazing. Through Avengers and then Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I fell off a couple seasons into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but he was great in it.
Yeah, there are many iterations of the character, and they do a lot with him. They explore all kinds of shit.
I wanted to end on Phil Coulson, but there was one that I forgot. It's short, Raza. He's the terrorist guy. He's the first villain introduced into the MCU. He was introduced just a little bit before Obadiah Stane. He's the leader of the 10 Rings terrorist organization, and Raza himself would be introduced into comic in 2010.
Oh, okay. So he was from this film.
Yes, he was from this
Interesting.
film.
Yeah.
All right.
I have one more.
Yeah, sure.
One of the scientists, when Obadiah is coming to get like some progress reports from all the scientists in the lab, Peter Billingsley, who's a good friend of Favreau's, he's Ralphie from A Christmas Story. So we've seen him lots of times. Anyways, I can't remember the name, but I looked on IMDb. That character with that name shows up in Spider-Man: Far From Home. He's one of the techies helping Mysterio out. Shit.
Oh,
wow.
Huh.
But same scientist, the same name. So it took him a while to come back, but he was there.
That's pretty cool.
I thought so.
God, yeah. Okay, MCU, man. All right, thank you, guys. That brings us to the film itself. Iron Man. Originally, in April 1990, Universal Studios bought the rights to develop Iron Man. That's the first time screen rights were bought to develop Iron Man. No one had interest in this until 1990.
He was a C-list character.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I never was a fan.
He wasn't.
Never.
Well, yeah, he was C-list. He was not big in the comics universe. So that was originally it was going to be made by Stuart Gordon to direct a low-budget film. He did Reanimator, the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids series, a bunch of B horror and sci-fi movies. That never got made. In 1996, 20th Century Fox got the rights. And Nicolas Cage, surprise, expressed interest in playing Iron Man.
Okay,
I read the book.
so has he ever gotten to be a superhero? Because like he's wanted to since I've heard of
Ghost Rider.
And Ghost Rider.
Duh. Ghost Rider and Kick-Ass. Okay, yeah.
That's it though. None of these.
I'm sure he wasn't.
Well, and Spider-Man Noir.
That's true. That was awesome. I think that's his best role.
That was
honestly.
That was really good. That was his best superhero role.
Absolutely. Kick-Ass was pretty good. So then in 1998, Tom Cruise came on board. Tom Cruise was going to be Tony Stark. I don't love it, but I can see how it would work, especially in the 90s.
Yeah, not funny enough.
No.
I wanted to say, so I did have a couple of Iron Man comics when I was a kid, and the Tony Stark that they portrayed often looked more like a Tom Selleck character.
Yeah.
than say a Robert Downey Jr.
Like a Clark Gable, Tom Selleck kind of like smooth. Robert Downey Jr.
Tony had a mustache for early
and a volleyball player body.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And he was tall. He was like a traditional like leading man looking guy.
Is a volleyball player body a male body type?
Yes.
Because I mean, if anybody saw Top Gun, that's Anthony Edwards and Tom Cruise for sure.
take my breath away.
Yeah.
So,
I'm already sweating.
But not a Downey.
No, Robert Downey Jr.
let alone a Downey Jr.
created something himself and redefined the character, and made the character what it was, far and beyond anything he previously was. Like
with the exception of that facial hair. That was the Ultimate's facial hair. That was definitely the Tony Stark beard and mustache.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah.
So Thoreau, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you were saying that it was what years in the 90s was it being under consideration for being made a movie?
Around 90 it started. Then throughout the 90s there were a few things. Around 97, 98, Tom Cruise was interested.
There was an animated series from 94 to 96.
Yes.
I remember that. I think that might have been the same animation house that did the X-Men comics.
I think you're
yeah.
It looks
I think so.
It looks very similar, yeah.
And there was an animated show in the 60s too, which we'll get to with the music in this.
Oh my God. The music from the animated show was incredible.
Yeah, there's at least 3 or 4 instances where they play the theme song in this movie from the 60s show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That.
I'll stick it in the podcast. It's hilarious.
I'm resigning. I couldn't miss that.
All right.
I resigned from my post.
All right. Around turn of the century, Jeff Vintner, who is a screenwriter for iRobot, Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within, and Stan Lee together co-wrote a story for Fox, which Vintner then adapted into a screenplay. That was they gave Tony Stark a new origin. It was like a science fiction origin, space rays and that kind of shit. And then MODOK was supposed to be the villain in that.
Wow,
yeah. That's really neat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In late 99, Jeffrey Kane was hired to rewrite that script. And then in October, 20th Century Fox approached Quentin Tarantino to rewrite and direct the film. He said no.
Yeah, it's good for him. I got kind of like a vision I got going.
Fox sold the rights.
He can drink and curse. He's a superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Samuel Jackson's in it. They could just be dropping N-bombs as much as they want.
Oh, God. Then Fox sold the rights to New Line Cinema, saying that they just had too many superheroes and we can't make them all. Basically saying Iron Man's not popular enough and we don't care.
It's true. It was very true at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, what year was that?
That was in 2000.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then at that point, New Line started developing it with a script by Ted Elliott, who did Aladdin, Shrek, Pirates of the Caribbean. Terry Rosario, who was his writing partner. And then Tim McAnleys, who wrote The Iron Giant and Secondhand Lions. So they did a pass at it. They came up with the idea of Nick Fury cameo to set up a Nick Fury film. In 2001, New Line entered talks with Joss Whedon to write and direct. That eventually fell through, and in 2002, they brought in David Hayter, David Goyer, and Mark Protosevich to do a story conference on it. They basically filmed them talking for a few hours about Iron Man, and then they took that and had McAnleys start writing a script based on what they talked about for 2 hours about Iron Man.
Wow.
Hayter, David Hayter, in 2004 was hired to write the script. And then his script with which he did with Alfred Goh and Miles Miller had the Mandarin as the main villain, Pepper Potts as a love interest. Then he rewrote that so that Howard Stark became War Machine and was the main antagonist.
Weird.
Wow.
Ouch.
Yeah.
No, you gotta kill the dad to to make a hero.
Absolutely.
Right. But like I was gonna say that in my notes, but not heavy-handed like the Waynes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a car accident.
Yeah.
No, I know, but he
Well-
lost them unfairly, and when he was young, and he could have a chip on his shoulder. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and as we see as we go through the MCU, he absolutely has a chip on his shoulder about his dad.
Yeah.
But in 2004, they approached Nick Cassavetes to direct. This deal fell through, and the Iron Man film rights, because people just weren't interested enough in making this, lapsed back to Marvel.
God, Christmas miracle, man.
And that's how we got here. In November 2005, Marvel decided that as Marvel Studios, they were going to produce this film all by themselves. This is the first time they ever did that.
Wow. And they made what, like 800 million? You said, or 80 million?
500 something, yeah.
Oh yeah. Good. For them.
They were like on the verge of collapse. This was on the tail end of creating the Ultimates and all that stuff, which was not wildly successful at the time because people were upset about it because it changed the tone.
Well, and all previous attempts had failed to make really high quality Marvel. You know, that's why the properties were being sold so constantly, because Marvel was running out of money. And
that's how Spider-Man and Fantastic Four left. And
they just got sold. Highest bidder.
And they're the two biggest properties that Marvel owned as far as like comic book titles.
Right.
That and X-Men.
And appeal.
The Hail Mary pass that this movie was is crazy for how popular it was and how well it connected. Like they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
And if they hadn't, they would have collapsed in on themselves.
Yeah.
But instead, we got the most popular film series of all time.
Yeah, if it flopped, nobody would have trusted him because, you know, like we all said, it's quite a big risk starting with Iron Man, not the most popular character. So if it sucked, people would be like, I'm not seeing another one of those.
The casting decision for Robert Downey Jr. itself is the biggest risk in this whole movie.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. That casting decision. So all right, yeah. They in fact they made several Iron Man animated shorts right before this, in order to try to make the public more familiar with Iron Man as a character.
Smart. Do what they do best. Animate, you know, or not animate, but draw images.
Draw things.
So, all
succession.
Right. Yeah, very quickly. A lot of them very
sequentially,
It's just like a comic book that you flip really quickly through.
Exactly. So, all right. They hired Jon Favreau in 2006.
Another amazing choice.
Yes.
What had he directed before this?
All right. So Jon Favreau.
Swinging.
He did not direct Swingers.
Oh, that's right.
He wrote Swingers. He directed Made in 2001. That was his first directorial effort. Then Elf, which is a Christmas classic.
Mm-hmm.
Zathura. Have you guys seen Zathura?
That's the Jumanji
type
sequel like spin-off. It's really good. Dax Shepard stars in it, which despite that, it's really good.
Dax is okay sometimes.
He's okay. I don't hate him, but he's
fine.
Not a great actor.
Fine. No, he's great. No.
But watching Zathura, I can 100% see how his sensibilities came to Iron Man and like Mandalorian. Like it's very much in those modes of like old school sci-fi fun adventure that really connects.
Okay. And you never even, I feel like I never even heard him when he was starting out ever publicly say that he was, you know, so into geek culture, like comic books and Star Wars. And, you know, like I didn't know that about him, but he has nailed both of those things Better than any super fan.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I
Then after
I think when Iron Man came out, I only knew Favreau from Swingers.
And PCU.
Yeah.
Oh, and PCU. Yes, totally.
Can you blow me where the Pampers is? What?
Yeah, Friends.
And Friends. Yeah.
He was on that.
It's like
He was
Phoebe
also
Friends or something.
he was also a clown in a Seinfeld episode.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And George is asking him if he knows who Bozo the Clown is. He's like, no. Oh, he was so popular. I don't. Then finally he snaps and he yells, "Why are you hung up on some damn clown from the 50s, man? Wake up!" Just
But
so
watching
angry in a clown suit.
watching this movie, it felt so very Favreau.
Yeah.
From what little I knew of him at the time.
At the time, but yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Maybe I noticed more Favreau in it now that